So I decided to be a teacher at a pretty young age, actually.
I actually had no intention ever in my life of being back in a high school ever again.
I was the kid who I would teach my stuffed animals all the time.
I was a part of the PALS program, which is, I think, still around, but in a different name, and loved it. Got to work over at Klein High School and got to go over and help with students over at Club Intermediate. Really fell in love with it.
When I started substitute teaching to see if I would like teaching at all, I went at all three levels. And one of the best things about high school students is they don't crawl under a desk and cry very often like they do in elementary school. That was hard.
I would put all of my stuffed animals in a row, and I had a little chalkboard. And so as a little kid, I would teach them a lesson, and then I would give them homework, and then I would do the homework and then grade the homework. And so from a young age, I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. My mom was a teacher. My grandma was an English teacher. My great grandmother was also an English teacher. So I just kind of always knew that that's what I wanted to do.
It turns out I'm a natural. I should have been a teacher my whole life.
Yeah, so there's kind of a saying among teachers that it's a calling within a calling. A lot of teachers have this real heart for children, especially the very young ones. And while I like little kids, what I really love is not only teaching, but being able to really dive into content area to engage students at a deeper level with historical ideas and even philosophical ideas within history. So high school was really it for me.
I think even from a young age, I knew I didn't want to do elementary school because even as a little kid, I was like, this is too crazy for me. So when I was in high school, I just fell in love even more with reading and with writing and with language and just the power of how words can really influence and affect the way in which our world runs.
The math we can do here is interesting and exciting. And I think students, you guys, are at a point in your lives where you can have some really fun conversations and you can start to understand the immensity of the world around us. And I think that lines up really well with the math. So that makes it fun for me.
I think that high school is such an interesting time in everybody's lives because not only are you maturing and kind of discovering who you are, but you're really sort of, becoming an adult. By the time you graduate high school, you're 18 and you're able to vote and you're able to move off and go into college. And so it's such a unique opportunity for these 4 years for you to really discover who you are.
But what motivates me to teach, and I think is what motivates a lot of others to teach, is the kind of the heart for it. The idea of taking something that's complex, like for me is world history, or European history, or for teachers, they take this thing that's really tough, and the idea of taking this difficult concept that's been around for millennia, right? The history, how did we get here? Why did we get here? And the ability to synthesize that information and bring it to a student and allow them to access it at a level that is deeper than they thought possible is such a cool thing to do.
And I think that teachers play a really big role in helping students discover who they are and discover their passions and discover what they really want to do with their lives. And so I really wanted to be able to teach high school because it's such, again, a good opportunity to really make sure that, that young students are given the tools that they need in order to be successful.
I'm motivated to be a teacher because I think when I was in high school, there were some teachers that were just there for a job and some teachers that loved what they did. And I, as a student, remember vividly not liking the classes where the teachers were just getting a paycheck. And I think you guys deserve somebody who loves you and the subject at the same time.
My freshman English teacher in high school, Miss Summers, is the teacher who really influenced me to want to teach. She was the kindest woman. She would show up every day and she always had a smile on her face. And that was where I really understood this idea of you don't just read something to enjoy it. There's a reason why authors make certain choices. There's a reason why that image is there. There's a reason why that character is built in that kind of way. And so, but more than that, she was just that kind of teacher that anybody could go to with anything. And she had like bottles of water for free for students. She always had a pencil ready. She always had such a welcoming classroom environment that from the time I was in her classroom, I always knew that she was going to be a big inspiration for how I wanted somewhat to be as a teacher?
Dr. Gary Forsyth, who really bent over backwards to help make a space for me in a college that really wasn't built for someone studying classical history. He did amazing things.
My dad didn't go to college. My dad was the child of deaf parents, so he talked with his hands. They thought that he was a slow learner when he first went to school. And this one teacher walked by and saw him one day and said, "Wait a minute, that's sign language, that's not gibberish." And she pulled him out of class and she got him into some remedial classes. And she saved him, really. And he went on, he grew up, he joined the Navy, he got a trade. But he was, when he retired, going to go back to school so that he could be that kind of teacher for somebody else. Now, unfortunately, he passed away before he could do that. But I feel like when I'm a teacher in the classroom, I have to live up to what he would have given to other people.
The special things about teachers is everyone can remember their favorite teacher, and it's usually not because of how well they knew their content area.
If you told me in high school that I was going to come back willingly to another high school, I'd have slugged you, because that was not happening.